media space has exploded massively, and so has the creator economy in the past couple of years. And the influencers across the nation are taking it a notch higher with every passing day. Welcome to ET Brand Equity's new series where we feature top influencers from across the nation. Today, we are in conversation with one such influencer who got the chance to walk the red carpet at Cannes Film Festival, not just once or twice, but thrice. Please welcome Masoom Minawala. Welcome, Masoom. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Somi. Thank you so much for having me.
You are sought after by global labels, it's not just Estee Lauder. There are so many more labels you're associated with. How do you maintain that differentiation? Because every brand caters to different consumers. How does your messaging maintain that differentiation for different brands?
I think it comes down to being very selective and being very authentic while deciding what brands I want to associate and work with. Right. So if it comes that yes comes, the collaboration comes from a genuine and authentic space, everything kind of just happens to flow in that nature. Every time I'm working with a brand, I make sure that the brand values completely align with mine. So when we talk about the Estee Lauder collaboration, they are a brand that across the board, across different dimensions, stand for empowerment. They stand for a lot of the values that I do, and that is very, very visible and vocal through all their campaigns and all their products. So the collaboration becomes so seamless, it becomes so effortless because it's just really coming from an honest place.
Before getting into so many collaborations, everyone has a first time, right? So what was your first meeting with a brand like?
Sony, you won't believe, but this was like possibly 10 years ago. It's been a decade because I've been doing this for so long. I've been doing it full time only for 5 years, but I've been doing it as a passion, as a hobby for so long. And even while I was doing it just for fun, that's when the brand collaborations actually started coming in. So frankly, my first brand meeting was when I was an absolute child. I was a teenager. I was so nervous. And even, just going for a meeting was so exciting because I was like, oh my God, I have to wear a formal shirt. And first, let me go and buy one to begin with. So it was really motivating, right? That somebody out there was taking, I think, all of about 18 years old, and somebody was taking an 18, 19-year-old so seriously. That was incredible, that feeling.
I mean, moving from that teenager to being that teenager to actually going on the red carpet at Cannes, what was that journey like? How was their journey from that teenager who has to go out and buy a formal shirt for their first brand meeting to the Cannes red carpet, and that too not just once, right? Thrice. How was that journey like?
So contrary to what anyone might think, it was a journey that was filled with so many ups and downs, and it was a roller coaster. It wasn't something that I just kind of stuck with. There was, I in fact moved jobs, moved businesses. There was a failed e-commerce business in the middle. There have been so many struggles. There have been criticism along the way. There has been trolling along the way, and really being able to find what that passion and purpose and calling is along the way, which is never an easy process. It is one that comes with hardships. And honestly, it's been walking the red carpet at Cannes. Yes, it was an extremely glamorous moment and one that is celebrated across the world. But for me personally, it was a win for me that I had finally been able to build a successful enough personal brand for myself, a successful enough business that I was being called and invited to a global event of this stature for the third time in a row. And when I'm at Cannes, I am there because of a relationship with a brand. So it does kind of reinstate that I am able to actually drive impact through my work to my community as well as the brands I work with. And I think that was the greatest pleasure. So even though the journey has been like this, I feel like, and today, like any other business, there are bad days, there are good days, there are risks involved, there are hardships that come with it. But I think I have, and I'm privileged enough, and I'm so grateful that I have found a job that is so aligned with my purpose and my passion that the hardships also seem a tad bit easier.
At a Cannes Film Festival, which is more regarded towards the film stars, the superstars from the film industry, being an influencer, so was that also a hardship you had to overcome? What was it like being an influencer on the Cannes Film Festival red carpet? Like,
Of course, Sohini, you have to be there to believe it. You are literally among the biggest celebrities. It is such an overwhelming space. And the way Cannes works is, there is one hotel where everything happens, and that hotel is not very expansive. So it's actually it's quite small. It's in a very concentrated space. There is one tiny elevator, and you will share that elevator with the likes of the Kardashians and Jenners to the Kapoors of the world. And it is overwhelming. You do feel like, wow. uh, because even on the red carpet, even while I was working, there have been, there was so many. As soon as you put yourself on a public platform, you open yourself up for public comments and public feedback and public criticism. It's a part of my job, and I completely accept that. But what that criticism was, I don't necessarily need to accept. And it's been varied. But to share one example with you, um, a lot of people said I was looking so short on the red carpet, and for for a large amount, I felt like I'm not looking short as a negative. I am short. And I don't think that's a negative in itself. Why are we letting industry norms or celebrity norms or society in itself decide what, what works and what doesn't, what's accepted and what is not accepted? And I was in that moment, I mean, until then, yes, I was very enamored by everything that was going around me. But I think in that moment, I was really, really proud to be an influencer, to be a person with a not so perfect body, not so perfect height, not so perfect face. And I was there for my work, and I was happy to flaunt my height, my body, just the way it is. Even when it comes to fashion, to just have your own perspective. And that the whole experience also led me to accept that everyone doesn't always have to agree with what I'm doing or what I'm wearing. And that's okay. Like, some moments you show up for yourself and you just let the world watch.
after featuring there for like first, second, third time, what were the kind of endorsement requests that came your way? How did the requests change, after you made such a mark in this space?
So I think it really is about building an overall personal brand for yourself. So in the public eye, it might feel like you have to do events as grand as Cannes Film Festival for you to get noticed. But I think that happens once or twice a year, right? I think along with those events, there's a lot of work that goes in on a daily basis to actually maintain that image, to maintain the kind of responsibility you have to your audience when it comes to showing up with content every day. So while, yes, it does add a lot to how you are perceived in the industry, there is your everyday work, the ones that, they say every little drop makes an ocean. And yes, something like can does help in the ocean with a bucket load of water, but you can't get anywhere without every little drop either.
You have been associated with global labels across, but if we come back home and say a desi brand approaches you from the fashion space, of course, what is your approach to the desi brands that might come to you?
Oh, we work with, I mean, that they are the ones that have made me who I am today. If I'm sitting in front of you, it is because of them. They are the ones that really have trusted me, because when I was talking about those everyday drops of water, it is these brands that I work with. It's the startups in all different space and genres. I talk about fashion, beauty, and lifestyle that have actually been able to build my brand. And I it is it is it is my passion to be able to give a platform to brands like these. So they are a very, very important part of my journey, and that they are someone that I work with all the time.
Having such a huge follower base can actually become a little tasking at times, right? So what do you do as an influencer to keep your followers or your fans, or people who are watching you happy and engaged with your content?
I don't actually set out with that intention. It's not about keeping them happy. I think the way I actually look at it is how can I add value to their lives through my content, right? So that's kind of how I position it. That how can I make a difference to their lives? How can I add value to them? How can I give them some information that they don't know about yet? How can I inspire, educate, motivate, or encourage them to do something? I think that's the way I approach it.
What is one no go that for influencers? What is one advice you would give to the influencers out there that they should stay away from?
The one thing that they should stay away from is actually turning to others' content or turning to others' ideas as a growth strategy, right? So very, it's a very easy way to do things. But I truly believe that if you want to get ahead in the business, you have to be able to identify your own unique voice. That's the only way you could really, really make it.
And also, Masoom, when you started off, it was way back, right? And the space was different, the opportunities you had were different. But now, today, consider you're given a chance to go back in time and start all over again. What are the things you would do differently than you did, say, 10 years back?
Nothing. I don't think I would do anything differently because it's been a part of why I can actually be here today, and the learnings and the failures and all those bad decisions have gotten me here. So I'm sticking to that timeline.
Wonderful. Yeah. I think that answers a lot of it. Thank you, Masoom, for joining us today. It was a really fun chat with you. Really got to know a very different side of yours.
Thank you.
Thanks, Masoom.